Welcome to the MrpTech podcast. This is episode 6. My name is Matt, and this is a weekly podcast where I discuss and I review multiple platforms and technologies to see what works best for you. We are now available on iTunes and in the Google Play Store and on just about any podcasting app. If you use iTunes or want to help us out in iTunes, you can give us a 5-star review to help us get noticed. All right, our first thing that we're going to talk about today is one of my favorite apps that I use every single day. And this app can be used on Mac, it can be used on Windows, and various mobile devices as well. The app I'm going to talk about today is called Audible. And if you've never heard of Audible before, I first want to give you a little bit of background information to what it is that I do every day. So I have a 2-hour commute just about every day to and from work. I 1 hour to work, 1 hour back. After about 7 years of this and listening to the radio every day, I got to the point where I couldn't listen to the radio anymore. I was tired of the repetition of hearing the same 5 songs on every single station over and over and over and over and over. It was monotonous, and I was looking for something else to listen to on my way to work. So I tried listening to, my music collection. That worked for a little while. As time went on, I found podcasts, and I got into many different podcasts that I like to listen to. Even those, to a certain point, they helped pass the time. And I realized that I was wasting 2 hours of my day every day, and that I could utilize this time to learn about things and to get a better idea of things I didn't know about. And so that's one thing that listening to podcasts helped me out with, is I listen to history podcasts, I listen to technology podcasts, and popular culture podcasts. And so that really made the trip enjoyable, where I felt like I was learning something in my 2-hour commute every day. And in the back of my mind, I always knew that audiobooks were something that I might be interested in, especially if I listened to podcasts on my way to work. And audiobooks were something that I had never listened to before. And I have heard lots of people talk about audiobooks and how much they enjoy them. So as time went on, I started hearing more and more podcasters talking about Audible, and I decided to give it a try. So what Audible is, if you go to audible.com, you can get some information on how to sign up. The apps are free apps, and you can have a free month trial for Audible. What they do is they give you a 30-day free trial. And what this 30-day free trial is they give you a credit to purchase a free book or to download a free book. And you can keep this book even if you choose not to continue with an Audible subscription after a month. And that's sort of exactly what I wanted to do. What I wanted to do is I wanted to try it out. I wanted to download a book. The book that I chose to download, I chose this book because I knew that it received great reviews, and I knew that the movie was coming out soon. And this took place last September, and I wanted to download Andy Weir's book called The Martian. And this book, this audiobook, was narrated by R.C. Bray. When I listened to it, from the very first minute all the way to the end, I was sort of captivated by the narrator. And this narrator kept me interested in the book. And if you don't know about The Martian, I highly encourage you to watch the movie. But the audiobook itself covers much, much more than the movie did. And it's basically a story about an astronaut named Mark Watney, who is on one of the first manned mission to Mars, and he gets stuck in a sandstorm. All the other astronauts have to evacuate, and during that evacuation process, he is struck by an antenna, and the other astronauts believe that he has been lost and is now dead. And it turns out that he is left behind, and he has to find a way to survive for long enough so that he can be rescued. It's a great book. It's it's science fiction, but based with a lot of factual knowledge from the author on the subject. So I got my first book for free, and even if I didn't want to continue with Audible, I could have kept that book forever. But I enjoyed it so much that I decided to give it a try. But before I did that, I also reviewed another audiobook company, and the one that I went with was Audiobooks.com. And so with Audiobooks.com, it's very similar to Audible. In fact, it's the same price. They give you a free trial for 1 month. So I did that as well. I downloaded another book called Ready Player One, and it was narrated by Will Wheaton. And I basically wanted to compare both companies and see which one worked best for me. And both of them have apps for mobile devices that you can download the books and keep track of. But I found that audiobooks.com was lacking in a lot of different ways. I didn't find it as user-friendly as Audible. And I feel that Audible had a whole lot more to offer than audiobooks.com. With Audible, I can create a wish list of books that I want to purchase in the future. And with Audible, how it works is every month you get a single credit. And it's a $14.95 subscription. So every month you're charged $14.95. You get one free credit. And if you've ever looked at audiobook prices, for instance, if I go to iBooks in iOS and I want to purchase audiobooks, they can be anywhere from $30 to $50 in price. And I thought that price was outrageous for audiobooks. I know there's a lot of production costs in audiobooks, and that's why they're more expensive, but I still thought that price was a little high. So as an Audible member, for $14.95 a month, you get one free credit, and that gives you basically a free book of your choice, no matter how much it costs. So that I really liked, and you could save money by listening to books that you want to, but paying the same price basically every month. And what's great about that is all of those books that are $30 and above, you're basically getting it for $14.95. There are books that cost less than $14.95 on Audible as well, and I don't tend to use my credit for that. If there's a book that I'm interested that costs a few dollars once in a while, I will pick up that book and just pay the price that I get as an Audible member. So with Audible, we get a lot of member benefits. So not only do we get the one free book a month, but basically we get 30% off full price of any other book at any time during the month. So you're always getting a discounted price on these audiobooks. And they even offer books that are on sale. They have a book of the day where they offer a book for $2.95 every single day. And they offer genre sales every few weeks where books of certain genres are on sale for maybe $4.95 to $6.95. So they're always offering really great deals on audiobooks. And they even sometimes offer for you to be able to have the ability to purchase extra credits during the month if you wanted them, which is handy if you have a 2-hour commute every single day and you listen to a lot of books. So you also get free subscriptions to the Wall Street Journal and the New York Times. These are audio subscriptions, and you get a free digital issue of AudioFile magazine. And at any time, if you don't like an audiobook, you can return it within 1 year of purchase. So if you start a book and you realize you don't like it, you can return it, no questions asked, and you get your credit back, and you can use that credit to download another book of your choice. So between audiobooks.com and Audible, I choose Audible. It's a great resource for me to be able to learn about a lot of things that I'm interested in. And a few weeks ago during this podcast, I mentioned the Steve Jobs biography and the Presentation Secrets of Steve Jobs. Both are books that I've listened to recently. Great books. And once in a while during this podcast, I will make recommendations, and I definitely recommend The Martian by Andy Weir if you're interested in science fiction. It was a great book. I really enjoyed it. So in our last episode, we talked mostly about Chromebooks and in education. We talked about why I thought Chromebooks were a great resource for students in the classroom. We talked about the privacy issues of the Chromebook. We talked about Google Apps for Education. And we learned a lot in the process about why schools would want to choose Chromebooks over anything else. So I want to continue with that discussion today, and I want to talk about some Chromebook alternatives. And there are many different alternatives for Chromebooks out there, and I'm just going to talk about a few of them. For instance, there's the Acer Aspire one cloudbook that retails for $169. It's running Windows 10. Basically the same form factor as my Chromebook, 11.6-inch screen, but instead of running Chrome OS, it's running Windows 10. There's also other platforms out there like the HP Stream and the Asus eBook and the Lenovo IdeaPads. They're all trying to compete at this market, of close to $200. The one difference with those machines is that if you need it, you can still use those traditional desktop apps like Word and Excel. And because Windows has to work on devices that are super expensive, these cheaper notebooks, they don't run nearly as fast as Chromebooks. So if you're going to spend money in a school system where you're on a limited budget, would you want something that ran fast, or would you want something that would be bulky and slow and that type? So with these Microsoft devices, ones that are running Windows 10, another thing is that a lot of schools aren't running Windows 10. A lot of schools districts are still on Windows 7. Even with Microsoft's push to make everything run on Windows 10, many school districts are using Microsoft 7. With Windows 7, these computers will probably run much slower. Windows 10 is more optimized, so it is going to run faster. So you're going to have some issues with those things. So again, a lot of educational institutes are looking for Chromebooks as a way to save money and give students access to devices that they need to use in order to be successful. Another great thing now that we're sort of talked about a few of these different Chromebook alternatives, each company is trying to compete at this market now as the race to the bottom continues, and we're fighting for low price devices. Things like the HP Stream are basically the same thing as Chromebooks, and they don't run as well, in my opinion. So let's shift our gear back to the Chromebooks and extend our conversation a little bit more on why else would someone in a school district use a Chromebook. Another reason for this would be for the simple fact of the IT management of these devices. It's so easy to incorporate these devices into a school district. So with this super simple management for IT departments, it's actually easier in some cases than managing an iPad. So especially with the Google Apps admin console that schools can have access to, it's much more easy to set up Chromebooks in schools than, say, iPads or other types of mobile Windows devices. So another thing, since we're bringing up the iPad, Chromebooks actually are considered stateless, where when you set up an iPad, you basically sign in with your Apple ID, and then the Apple ID and the iPad that person is using belongs to that user, and only that person can use that device until it is factory reset. With a Chromebook, a student can sign out, and another student can sign in with their own account, and all the data will automatically be synced to that Chromebook. So it's really friendly for a large group of students. Again, with an iPad, only one student would be able to get one iPad, and is much more costly. For teachers, there are lots of ideas that you can use Chromebooks in education. Last week we talked about the core Chromebook apps such as Google Drive and Gmail and Hangouts and those devices. But there are even more things that you can do. Teachers can collaborate on lesson plans using Google Docs. They can use the same document, and they can help students improve their writing process. They can collect and they can share and analyze data with a whole class, and they can use these tools and put them into a presentation inside Google Docs. So instead of using PowerPoint, you can use the presentation tools in Google Docs. And what's really neat is as you start using this software, you can even invite someone outside of the district to become a guest lecturer in your room by using Google Hangouts and having a video chat with someone who lives in another state to help your classroom. You can give homework help. You can do office hours for students where at a certain time you can help students online with their homework. I mentioned last week that you can create a website for your student, and you can manage portfolios with students. You can moderate discussions with your classroom online. And you can organize and develop your curriculum using Google Apps. And all of this thing is to help teachers manage their classroom in a digital age. You can incorporate lessons with other companies outside of Google. You can get lessons from the Khan Academy. You can use something like YouTube for schools or Google Apps for Google Play for education. That's the Google Play Store for educators. You can have all sorts of different training opportunities for students. You can teach students how to type. You can teach important skills for Common Core testing. You can teach efficient communication with students. There are tons and tons of different reasons why Google Apps and Chromebooks will be great for students. You can use apps to teach students to mind map. You can teach students new ways to structure thought and brainstorm and construct ideas, and basically use problem solving to figure out what it is that they want to do, and they can are this interactive mind map to do that. You can graph using Google Apps. You can practice geometry with Google Apps. So there are tons of ideas, and really the sky is the limit when it comes to using these Google Apps. Teachers can even make their classes public if they wanted to, and use Google Hangouts to turn their classroom into something that parents can be involved with, or sick students can come to watch and interact with during their class. I mean, how great is that? If a student can't be in school one day, they could sit at home and log in and watch your class over a webcam, or something that might be used for a student who's out a lengthy period of time but can sit and listen to your class. They would be able to catch up at a much quicker pace if they were able to see you teach, and if they weren't able to be in your classroom for the day. With Google Apps, you can also grade and return assignments easily. You can collect and you can grade homework assignments all online from students who upload their homework, and you grade it and give them a grade, and your response will be much quicker with everything being done online. With the Google Play for Education store that I was talking about, you can rent books for your classroom. You can have book circles where students will read books on their device at home. And there's so many different things that you can do, all with an internet ready and mostly cloud and mobile device. So again, the reason why we're talking about Chromebooks is the district that I work in is we're sort of in the process of collecting information on Chromebooks and weighing the options between a Microsoft mobile device that is Office 365 ready, where we have everything that we use in our district runs off of Office 365 online, or something more similar to a Chromebook. And I really think that these Chromebooks for students are great, and the ability to have a fast and secure system for students is also great. Students can carry these around, or they can be left in classrooms, and there's really no other choice right now in a classroom other than Chromebooks. And I'm going to keep experimenting with Google Apps for Education and how Google Play for Education incorporates to all of this. So again, if you are using a Chromebook in a school and you have uses in classrooms for Chromebooks, please let me know. Send me some feedback, send me an email, and let me know exactly what you're doing in your classroom, and you will be helping another district move towards something that is useful. If you are using Chromebooks in a school and you're finding that it's not useful, please let me know that as well. You can send me an email. It's mrptechreviews@gmail.com. I also have a website, mrptechreviews.wix.com/home. That's where I post all of the information on all of my shows. So feedback is greatly appreciated. Send me ideas for future shows. I'm going to get off the Chromebook topic now for a couple of weeks. I have a few other things that I want to talk about. And I hope you're enjoying these shows. We're hoping to keep this going weekly, and we hope that you are enjoying listening to me discuss things. And again, thanks for listening. We'll see you next time.